Friday night is John's birthday. So you'll have to wish him a happy birthday. What do you think? Good.
Keep them coming.
This is an amazing woman that I'm going to introduce to you. It's like, I feel like I'm the Hollywood star of fame, and we're going down one star after another. Chantelle Gossett, who's going to be speaking to you next, is a very busy woman. She has 4 children between the ages of 5 and 11. Listen to this. Last year, her sales were $117,000. On top of that, she qualified 16 recruits. She is Excellence Award in 2 categories, and not just by an inch. And like Ellington and everybody, Michael, everybody's busy. This is a woman who's busy. And I think many of you are going to relate to her and say, this is my life too. I'm a busy mom. I've got a lot going on. How does she do it? And I just asked, you know, she's a great director. She's a great mom. She's a great consultant. She's a great recruiter. And just to share her best of her best, which makes everybody better, right? So, would you like to hear from Chantelle? And if you notice, all of our speakers seem to have very long ribbons.
Okay, thanks you guys. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a mom, and that's actually what I am. So I have 4 kids.
Put the microphone a little closer. There you go.
I have 4 kids. I've been doing Pampered Chef 10 years this year. Just had my 10-year anniversary. And I started when I had a 6-week-old and a 15-month-old. So, you know, I was very busy then too. And the reason I started was I went to a party to buy a cookie scoop. That's all I was gonna buy. And I brought my baby, who was 6 weeks old, and thought when she cries I can leave. But what I heard was the lady who was doing the party had quit her nursing career because this was making more money. And I thought, ooh, I want to hear more about that. So I decided to give this a try because our daughter had a medical expense that we needed to cover, and I wanted to stay home with our kids instead of putting them in daycare so I could go to work. So that's why I started, and I only had to do 2 shows a month. There are no jobs out there that will hire you for 2 shifts a month because I tried, and I didn't want to leave more than I had to. So the first couple years in the business, I did 2 shows a month, got a paycheck, stayed home with my kids, and I got free product, and I thought, this is awesome. Over time, my schedule changed. My husband was working 2 jobs, and he was gone anywhere from 60 to 100 hours a week. Wow. So I was home with we now had 3 kids, and I was home by myself with 3 kids, 3 and under, for 60 to 100 hours a week. Nobody was happy. 2 shows a week, so that was 10 hours of my time, actually replaced 20 to 40 hours that he was working at a second job. So I was able to replace his income. He was home more. I was gone more, which was a win-win. I also earned our first free trip, which was to Paris with my husband for free, which was awesome. And that's actually what sold him on the business. So it took several years to get him on board. But the reason I kept going was over time, we have 4 kids now, and my husband lost his job. And overnight, I became the only income provider. And I thought, well, do I go back to work or do I make this work? And so I decided to make this work. So my schedule now is 12 to 15 shows a month. And Marie asked me to share, like, what do you do? And one of the biggest things I can share is consistency is really important, whether it's 2 shows a month or 15 shows a month. I do those shows no matter what. It doesn't matter if the kids are sick. It doesn't matter if somebody's schedule changes. I still have to go to work. If you have a day job, you go to work even when your kids are sick. So that's what I do. A few other things I wanted to share. At my shows, what do I do? That's what Marie asked me. Like, what do you do at your shows? I think that having a goal is really important. So I set goals every month. We already talked about that earlier today. She did a great job of sharing why you want a goal. But my goal is to do better than I did the year before, every year. So every year I see where I was last year, what do I want to do next, and where do I want to improve. So this past year, I wanted to improve on my show average because I didn't want to do more shows than I was already doing. 15 shows a month is plenty for me to be gone, but I want to make more money. So I increased my average in the last year from 500 to 800. A show average. So what do I do to do that? Show your big products, but know your big products. So all my shows show rock crocks, they show grill pans. We've talked about that a lot tonight, but use them at home too. You know, I tell people I cook at home for a family. I have six people I'm cooking for. You know, you got to use your products and show them and know what you're talking about. So I do that at home and out on my shows. Okay, so here's the part that I'm really passionate about. 2 other things, bookings at your shows. Like Ellington said, I want to get that done while I'm at work. My kids are crazy. It's summertime. They've been home for 6 weeks now. I don't have time to be on the phone where they're going to be quiet. I can't say, oh, I can call you tomorrow at noon because my kids might not be quiet at noon tomorrow. So I need to get my shows booked at my shows. And I think the most important thing with that, and we've heard this from everyone tonight that's doing well, is your confidence. Do you really think you can? I tell everybody at my shows, my goal is to book 3 shows, and I do. It's that simple. Okay, and then the other one is balance. And that's the other thing that people ask, how do you do it? How do you balance things? You know, I've got 4 kids. My goal is to be a good mom to my kids. And so what do? I actually don't believe in balance. That's what Marie asked me is can you talk about balance? I actually don't believe in that. And that's probably what I'm most passionate about. And that's what really changed my mindset of my business. Because when you want balance, what happens? You're at something with your kids and you're thinking about your business and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not balanced. You're at, you know, something for work and you're thinking about your kids and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing a good job. And I'm failing in my life. And I'm failing as a mom, and I'm failing with my business. And I thought, this isn't working. So how can I fix this? Because I want to keep with the business, but I don't want to feel like I'm failing on all counts at all times. So I thought, I just need to integrate the 2. And that's how we look at our life. We integrate our family, and we integrate my business together. So for this week, I had to be ready to come here. We've had a lot going on with our family. And the kids know that my job is important. It provides things that we wouldn't have otherwise. So last night, my 10-year-old made 70 invitations. And we took them to the post office before I packed. Last week, my 8-year-old made 12 post packets. That's how we integrate it with our family life. We do it together. They're home. They're driving me crazy. We can sit around the table and we can do this stuff together. But what does it give them? They have to know what they're getting out of it. And they're getting things that I wouldn't have if I was gone all day. So they're able to, we went bowling during the day. We went to the movies. We go swimming every Wednesday. They get to stay up late on a night when I'm home and watch a movie and be up till 11 o'clock because I don't have to wake them early the next morning and take them to the sitter. They can stay up late, it's okay. So I explained to them, you know, you guys help me, and then we can have this family life and these goals that we're working towards with our family. So it's really, instead of balancing, just how can you make the 2 work? And during the school year, every kid's allowed to do 1 thing. And that's actually unusual at the kids' school. Usually the other kids are doing 2 things, 3 things. We'll do the math, 4 kids, 3 things, you're not gonna be home ever. So the kids know they can do 1 thing, but my business pays for that 1 thing. So that's how they're able to do that. That means that sometimes at practice, I'm not watching them. I'm sitting in the car. I will schedule phone calls because I know I have to be at that practice from 7:30 to 8:30. I will sit in the car. They will be at their practice, and I make phone calls. I'll do training calls. I'll do follow-up calls because that's the time that I have. So I'm not standing there like some of the other parents, but we're also making this work and creating it so that we have the family life and the business time that we need. So that's how we do it. And I do have, actually this fall will be the first year that I have all my kids in school full-time.
I hear you on that one.
Exactly.
I cannot wait until August 24th.
So first time ever. The youngest is going to kindergarten. It's all-day kindergarten.
That's right.
So these calls that I'm making, these things that I'm doing, I always have somebody with me while I'm doing it. So I've gone so far as to pick up a movie and put it in. They don't get to watch TV in the car unless we're on a long trip, But if mom needs to make calls, I'll strap him in his car seat, put the movie on, and sit there and make calls. So it comes down to that, back to that consistency. If you have a goal, then you just do it. You get to that goal. And for us, it does come down to that's how we're going to pay the bills. That's how the kids are going to get the extra things that we want to give them. So that's it.